Good morning, guys. Welcome to the Recreation Station for Kentucky Department of Parks. My name is Paul. I'm here with Carter Caves State Resort Park. And a few days ago, I left a posting on our Facebook page that asked you a simple question. It had a picture of a can, very similar to this one right here, also a formation inside of one of our caves, which here in just a little bit we're going to be seeing. So my question to you guys is what does this have to do with this? Well, we're going to get into that here in just a little bit, but first off, I want you guys to take a look at where we're at right now. We're at the entrance of X Cave here at Carter Caves. You look down here in the valley and you have Cave Branch Creek. Cave Branch Creek is really responsible for most of the cave systems, at least on the main part of the park right now. And we're going to be learning or seeing the effects of what this water has on all this limestone rock in this area. But again, we're going to answer the most important question, is what does this have to do with this? So let's go on into X Cave and let's take a look. So you're going to be seeing a lot of different stuff here as we go through here, and I might stop along the way and show you a couple of things that I think is neat along the way, but watch your head. We're going to do a little bit of exploring. So the first thing I want to do is I want to look at this little hole here because I think it looks cool. You get right down in there and take a look at it. When you see little stuff like this, kind of begs to ask the question, how does this happen? You've got all this limestone rock inside of here. You've got little bitty holes kind of like this right here. You've got formations like these right here. And again, we're going to be learning as to why this is, but let's go a little bit farther. Okay, a lot of times when you're going inside of caves, I mean, most people when they come here to Carter Caves, they associate bats with caves. And I think we all have a tendency to do this, but there are other types of organisms that kind of call a cave their home. Here's one of them right here. Up on the wall here, we've got this little guy. A lot of people refer to him as what they call a cave cricket. That's not quite a really accurate name for him. He's actually called a camel cricket. Now, camel crickets are very, very common all across this tri-state area, Ohio River Valley. You'll find them in basements. You'll find them inside of these little crawl spaces, and you'll find a lot of them inside of caves. This guy is a little guy, believe it or not. Some of the ones that you'll see here, I don't know whether we'll see them today. It's a little bit early for them to really start seeing them in large numbers here at Carter Caves. But you'll find these guys that get about as big around as my thumb, the bodies of them. So you'll find them really, really big inside of here. So we'll leave this guy alone and just take a look at him. He's really kind of neat. Alright, so as we walk down through here, gonna have to watch your step a little bit. So as we walk down through this passageway, I don't know whether any of you guys have ever been here to any of the cave tours here at Carter Caves. You know, currently, just because of everything that's going on with the COVID-19, we're not able to take cave tours. That's why we wanted to do these types of things in order to get you guys kind of out into your Kentucky state parks, just to give you this experience while you're sitting at the comfort of your own home right now. But as you walk down through here, you'll notice that a lot of this passageway is kind of a tall, skinny passageway. And that's unlike a lot of the other caves that you find here at Carter Caves. Now let's talk about why that is. It's all about how they form and how the water forms through this limestone rock, which we're going to be getting into depth here in just a little bit. But a tall and skinny passageway forms a little bit differently than what the wide and relatively short ceiling passageways are. And here at Carter Caves, you see both, but by and large, most of the caves that you find here in this area, at least the commercial tours and some of the ones that we take during the summertime, are more representative of kind of the wide, relatively short ceiling passageways. They almost look like an oval. That's called a phreatic tube, but we'll learn a little bit more about that. But most people, if you know anything about caves, the first thing that people know about are formations. So if you look right down here in the middle of the passageway, you've got this formation sitting right here. Now, most people who know anything about caves know that you have two main types of formations, right? You either have stalactites or stalagmites, right? I mean, almost everybody knows this. But here's the question. Which one is which? Which ones are the stalactites? Which ones are the stalagmites? If you think you know, type it really quick and message us and let me know. We'll answer this here in just a little bit, but maybe a little bit of interaction right now. If you think you know which one is which, message us and let us know as you're watching this. I'll tell you, as far as X Cave is concerned, one of my favorite little formations that you find inside of X Cave, and I would say probably 95% of the people who come through here walk right by it, never have a chance to see it, is right here behind me. So come over here and let's take a look at this real quick. So you'll look at this neat little formation right here, and one of the neat things about it that I think is the water right here. That water, I mean, we think of water being perfectly flat, right? But if you look, you'll see that that water almost sticks up off of that formation right there. So that is surface tension of the water. If you've ever been out into a stream and you've seen those little bitty, I call them water spiders, but those little bitty bugs that kind of skip across the water, they're skipping across the water on the surface tension. And this is a perfect illustration of that water tension right there, the surface tension. If you get down here, you'll actually see where that water is sticking up off of that formation, right? Again, that is surface tension that you're seeing right there. And all this is another formation. Now, this is not a stalactite. This is not a stalagmite. This is a different formation that we call rimstone. Here at Carter Caves, you'll see rimstone dams like this that are as big as bathtubs. In fact, there are some of the caves here at the park where they have passageways that we call bathtub alley, because you'll see these types of things that are just massive rimstone. And then you'll find these little bitty baby ones that are still called rimstone, but I think these are the prettiest. The ones are really impressive when they get really large, but these are the pretty ones because this material that you're seeing right here is absolutely beautiful. It's got that white color. And again, right now we are getting closer to learning about what that can of cola that you saw outside. We're getting close at learning what that can of cola has to do with this type of stuff. So come on, let's go a little bit farther. As you come through here, you got to keep your eyes open. If you look up, you'll see all the different colors that you find here. That really, really white color. A few little bluish and gray colors. Now again, I promise you, everything that you're seeing here, everything that you see is still going back to answering that question that we're coming in here to answer. Okay, so don't lose sight. Don't go away yet, because again, we're getting ready to learn about all this stuff that you're seeing. Oh, guess what I just found? Come over here. All right, so it's getting to be about the time of the year where you'll actually have these guys starting to wake up. And this is what is commonly referred to as a big brown bat. So these are a very, very common type of bat that you find here at Carter Caves all across North America. But this guy's sleeping right now. And as he's sitting there sleeping, we don't want to disturb him any longer than what we have to. Even though it's getting close for about the time for him to start waking up, we don't want to disturb him. You almost have to look at it like this. Let's say that you guys are, you're in your bedroom, it's 3 o'clock in the morning, you're sleeping, somebody comes in with a bright light, starts taking pictures of you. I'm willing to bet that's going to freak you out a little bit. It can kind of be the same situation for him. So I just wanted to show him to you, but let's go a little bit further. So as we're walking down through here, I do want to, a lot of times I get asked questions, how do these bats do that? How do they sit up there and they sleep and do all that type of stuff? Everybody do me a favor. I want you to take your hand, I want you to just stick it out in front of you like this, okay? And when you stick it out in front of you like that, I want you to just relax your hand, all right? So if you stick out your hand and you relax your hand, what does your hand do? Right? Relax it. It kind of curls up. A bat's foot is kind of the same way in that he uses the muscles in order to open up his feet, right? Then he comes up to that limestone rock and he relaxes his hand. So he stops using those muscles and it closes up just like that. And he's got these little bitty teeny tiny sharp claws that have no trouble at all grabbing onto the limestone rock. That's no problem at all. But when he relaxes his hand and it curls up like that, he's able to hold on to that wall or to that ceiling, and he can go to sleep. He can go into hibernation. A bat can even die, and he's not even using any kind of muscles to hold on to that ceiling. So that's how they're able to do that. Now again, notice as we walk down, this passageway is not getting any wider. It's just getting taller, right? It's getting even taller. So we've been getting quite a bit of rain here over the past little bit, kind of on and off. And inside of X Cave right now, there's a lot of activity. You guys are kind of benefiting in seeing this because there are times through the year when you don't have nearly as much water coming into the cave. But right here, you can see what this water is doing once again. Almost looks like wax dripping down the side of the wall here. So all this water is kind of coming down the wall here. And again, you probably wouldn't see a whole lot of this if it had been drier the past little bit. So you guys are seeing the result of the rain that we've been having outside. Okay, if you guys take a quick look right over here, you're going to see this formation. Now this, if you guys saw my post earlier this week, this should look somewhat familiar. This is the formation that I posted on the first posting just a few days ago. This is called the giant column, and you get those giant columns whenever the stalactites and the stalagmites come together. So I asked you earlier, for some of you, maybe just to message us and let us know which one was which, stalactites, stalagmites. All right? Now, I'm going to let you in on this. This is how my dad taught me to remember these types of formations. Stalactites hang tight to the ceiling, right? Hang tight to the ceiling. The great thing about that is if you can remember that, you've only got one left, right? You've got the stalagmites. So stalactites are going to hang tight to the ceiling. Stalagmites are there on the floor coming up from the ground, right? But when these two things meet, when they meet right smack dab in the middle, that's when you start to get these types of formations. And of course, once again, this is the formation that I posted earlier this week to associate with the cola can, the can of cola that I posted. So let's learn why this is. What does a can of cola have to do with the formations or the cave itself? So this is how I'm going to tie this all in. So what forms all of this? All this space and even the formations that you see right here is going to be carbonic acid. Okay? In order for all this to happen, you basically have to have three ingredients for all this to happen, right? And these three ingredients are, if anything changes with these ingredients, then you don't get the caves, you don't get the formations that you find inside of the caves. So it's the ever important ingredients. In order for all this to happen, number one, you got to have, at least for this area, you've got to have the limestone rock, right? The limestone rock for this area is all important for all the caves, okay? So we've got plenty of that. You look around this, it's all over the place right here. Number two, what you got to have is water, right? Now, considering Kentucky is pretty much a big watershed, we got plenty of that here. All the streams and creeks eventually lead to the Ohio River, and we're in a big watershed. So we've got the second ingredient here. The third, most important ingredient, you cannot have a cave without it in this area, is going to be carbon dioxide, okay? Carbon dioxide, water, and limestone. Whenever you get the water combining with that carbon dioxide, it actually forms the carbonic acid. Now, here's where we bring it all together here, okay? I'm willing to bet that probably every single person out there watching this right now has probably drank carbonic acid at some point. If not today, I guarantee you earlier this week, you have drank carbonic acid. CO2 in water makes it bubbly. What do they use to make cola, soda? If you've had Sprite, if you've had anything, any kind of carbonated beverage today or beforehand, you have drank carbonic acid. So that's what that cola can that I showed you has to do with the caves in this area. It's the same process. It's a carbonic acid that eats away at the calcium in this limestone rock that creates the cave. So there is that association. Now, it's really cool because it does kind of two different things here, right? Now I'm going to have Coy turn around here, and because you're getting two different things here. You're getting what the water takes away, right? Remember, it's carbonic acid. It's the same process, and that carbonic acid is created, and it takes away all this limestone material through the erosion process, right? Aha! But it doesn't stop there. If you come over here, this is what the water is taken away. If you come right over here, this is what the water has put back, but it does it a little bit in a different way. Whereas the carbonic acid is created and takes the material away, what happens here is as the water comes down through the soil, as the water comes down through the limestone rock, and it hits the atmosphere inside of the cave, right? Bam, it happens, and something happens just like that can of cola. The carbon dioxide is released. What happens if you leave a can of pop sitting out for too long? It goes flat, right? So when that carbon dioxide is released into the air, it can't hold on to those minerals anymore, and it deposits them. So that's what you're seeing right here. You are seeing both what the water takes away in this chimney right over here, and you're seeing what the water puts back right here in this formation. So it's all kind of the same process. One of them is taken away, the other is putting it back, which I think is so cool because it's the same stuff that we drink, or a lot of us drink out there. Now, here's the last thing that I want to leave you with that I think is so cool, or kind of scary, whichever one you want to think. The carbonic acid that is responsible for everything that you see inside of X Cave is thousands of times weaker. Now, I'm going to say that again. The carbonic acid that forms this big cave that we're standing in right now is 1,000 times weaker than the carbonic acid that you find in cola drinks, right? But it takes a really long time for this to occur as it eats away that calcium in the limestone rock. So I hope that kind of brings everything together for you as far as that original post, the cola can and the formations. We all kind of pulled it back in. You guys got a chance to see some of the stuff here inside of X Cave. Now, for that and a lot more, once we're able to get back out and we're able to get back out to your Kentucky State Park, I'd encourage you to come to X Cave to see the giant column here, to see some of the rimstones and some of the cool formations that we've seen here. But also, I want you guys to come here and be able to see why we call it X Cave. That's something we didn't address in this, right? We didn't talk about it. But I want you guys to be able to come here to see why it's called X Cave and to see so many more formations that you haven't had a chance to actually see. So each week we're actually going to be doing this. Now Carter Caves will probably be posting some other things, but there are a lot of other state parks out there that are going to be posting some really neat stuff. We're going to be doing this on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, right? Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Now the Recreation Station, as part of the Kentucky Department of Parks, is going to be posting several different videos and Facebook Lives. We want this to be interactive. We want you guys to be watching and talking to us as we do this. So again, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, Recreation Station as part of the Kentucky Department of Parks. Guys, I really appreciate you guys listening. Hopefully you guys have learned something, and hopefully we've kind of whet that appetite for you guys to get out and enjoy your Kentucky State Parks when we're able to do so again. So come out and see us. We appreciate you being here. My name is Paul with Kentucky Department of Parks here at Carter Cave State Resort Park. Look us up for the Recreation Station here for Kentucky Department of Parks. Thanks, guys. We'll see you soon.